rehabilitation instead of prison. In the United States, we have heavy drug laws regarding drug offenders. The punishment for drug offenders needs to change in our nation. The laws that were put in place in the late 80s and early 90s are still in place today. When these laws were made, the relationship between drug and crime were heavily correlated. As more laws were put in place and more people were convicted, the crime rate obviously went down. As more people were convicted, though, there were more people put into prison for nonviolent drug crimes. This was shown through the population increasing and overpopulating of the prisons. Because of this, they have now been overfunded, even though they were on a budget before. If we were to redirect this money into rehabilitation, the money could go towards, the rest of the money could go towards education systems and other programs such as road restructuring and anything else that is federally funded. As a nation, we should really rethink our punishment for drug offenders. In an interview done in 2014 with an expert by a man identified as Johnson, he said that there were too many people in prison for drug use who pose no public threat because they have no previous record. Other experts that worked alongside him believe that most of the people in prison could be and are eligible to be exempt from their prison statements or let out early. Drug court programs, because of this research, have been put in place and become more popular throughout the nation. According to an article called Rehabilitation Reduces Recidivism Rates Among Drug Offenders, as of 2004, there were 1,200 programs put into place and 500 started. All of these had millions of participants that were in prison going through withdrawal and other issues that people go through when they're addicted to drugs. These included rehabilitation instead of prison. With this, they discovered that completion is absolutely necessary for the full recovery and result of the patient. 66% of people in the programs did complete, with most of them being adults. Adults had more of a reason to try harder in their rehabilitation because they had people to go home to and things that they wanted to do. Since these have been done, there has been a decrease in the number of people arrested and reconvicted. When people go through rehabilitation, they are less likely to get back on their drugs because they have gone through treatment that gives them coping mechanisms and other psychological help to not go towards their drugs for their vice. Some of these programs have been done specifically in New York, Michigan, and Rhode Island. In these states, they have seen nothing but positive results in their cities mostly with high drug crime. The drug offenders in their prisons have gone down, and so have the crime rates in their cities and even in their suburbs. This includes drug users and drug sellers. They have had less people convicted of their crimes a second time, and the rehabilitation seems to really be sticking in their states. In conclusion, we should really change the approach we take when thinking about imprisonment for drug offenders. They have a problem and it is not their fault. We can lead by example from New York, Rhode Island, and Michigan, and once we have the money refunded, we can give more money to the education system, which obviously needs it, and road work restructuring. There are also many other federally funded areas that could use this money. We would see a change in crime rates and drug offenses, which we obviously need today in 2020.